And hello YouTube. This is the longest I've gone without actually shooting a new video. I think I had a corresponding 6 days that I didn't upload anything. Finally uploaded something this morning, and I'm pretty sure that there's several vlogs between the one I uploaded this morning and this one. So when you hit this one, it's not going to seem like there's been a big gap, but there's been a big gap, and I don't remember where I left off. And I guess at that point I should, on that note, I should say the date. Is this guy parked in the middle of the... No. It's an odd place for somebody to park with their lights on. Came out of there once last week and there was somebody like completely blocking that exit. To be fair, from the cul-de-sac it doesn't really look like there's anything there, let alone an alley that goes through as far as that alley goes through. Anyway, on that note, I should probably say the date and the time, and to figure out like how much time has passed since my last vlog. It's Sunday, January 22nd, 2023, 6:16 p.m. Just got done basically spending 3 days curled up in bed, not really being motivated enough to leave or get up or do much of anything. Yeah, that's happening again. It pretty much sums up last week into oh, check this out. I can tell from the taillight, this is one of the brand new electric Amazon delivery vans. I saw a really cool oh, there's the driver. There's the driver on his way back to his van from where he was delivering. As I'm on my way to the sort center. Which is several steps before Amazon product gets to that guy. But anyway. And what a lot of people don't know is that the guys that drive those vans don't actually work for Amazon. Those guys all work for independent contractors. And I probably just got given a record from that guy. Just got a record delivered. Had another one pop up on. Of course, the last one I mentioned was on Walmart.com, but I had another one pop up on Reddit on our vinyl deals. That it was just too good of a deal to pass up, especially since I was able to get free shipping on it. Since I still have a Prime membership, I was able to get free shipping, and then and it was actually sold directly from Amazon, so I was able to use my 10% employee discount. I forget what the final price was. I think it was only like, after discounts and everything, it was like $12 or $13 for Death Cab for Cutie, Narrow Stairs on vinyl, which actually that's not such a new album anymore, but it's something I've been wanting pretty much since it came out. God, it's probably over a decade old now, think of it. But anyway, I'm sure I've mentioned it before. I'm a big fan of Death Cab for Cutie, and I've had wow, I really should have checked the traffic brand now. I didn't even know there was a road closure here. I was going to say, oh, it's time to wake up and join the real world. I completely brain fart. Yeah, it's been over a decade since Narrow Stairs came out, and much of a Death Cab for Cutie fan as I am, I have never owned a physical copy of this album, and I don't think I've ever listened to the actual full album all the way through. I remember being really excited when I Will Possess Your Heart came out. I thought it was just like the coolest song ever, and in fact, I'm kind of baffled that I never bought that album, because it wasn't like I wasn't still into Death Cab for Cutie when it came out. Just, I don't know, somehow I just never got around to purchasing that album. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I was definitely like a full-time karaoke host by then, and I was largely consuming music in I think I'm still purchasing physical karaoke discs. That was a substantial portion of like what I purchased in music, and then I was definitely to the point of purchasing a la carte karaoke tracks by then as well, and on top of that, like, so much of what I was experiencing in new music was what I was downloading as music videos to play at my show, that I wasn't really buying a lot of albums then. So I'm thinking that's how that would miss me. But anyway, as I was starting to say, and kind of got sidetracked, yeah, I've had two very, very extremely personal encounters with Death Cab for Cutie, and more specifically their lead singer, Ben Gibbard, and kind of maintained contact with him for a little bit after the first time I crossed paths with him. Not so much after the second time. I'm pretty sure I talked about the first one on my vlog once upon a time. Damn if I can remember what video that was on or why, and lots of flashing lights and a weird siren. Interesting. Second time, both of those long before Narrow Stairs came out. The first time I know I talked about that, it's been a long time since I mentioned that in my vlog, but I ended up meeting him on stage prior to a show in San Diego. And this would have been when they were still on Barsuck Records, long before they were a well-known mainstream band. I forget exactly where they played in San Diego, but it was a tiny, tiny, tiny venue. And went with my wife at the time, who was who had like just given birth to my older daughter. Older daughter was just a little baby at that time, and someone who's probably the closest I had to a best friend at the time, whose name was Wes. I feel bad. I can't even think of Wes's last name at the moment. That's terrible. And he had been a driver for me for a good solid couple of years while I had my cab company. And I know I've talked about Wes in this vlog before. Anyway, by that point in time, he was several years into having multiple sclerosis and was wheelchair bound. Was receiving some kind of like handicaps, like special. Had this apartment that was mostly elderly people, but it was a place that was, for the elderly or disabled, which at that time both Wes and I were in our. Well, I was in my early 30s. Wes was in his mid 30s. Which seems so old at the time. Seems so young now. Yeah, he had the housing in San Diego right there. I don't remember exactly where it was. I was spending a lot of time in San Diego in summer of 2019, and when I was driving around a few times, I tried to figure out if I could figure out where it was Wes lived, and I couldn't. Of course, granted, I was generally busy working the whole time I was there, but anyway, I know it was near Mission Bay because I remember 2 nights in a row watching watching the fireworks at SeaWorld at eye level from his balcony. Anyway, God, I miss Wes. That was the last time I really got to spend quality time with him before he passed away, sadly. But he, anyway, I went with him and my wife to see Death Cab for Cutie, along with a couple of opening bands. I don't even remember who they were. Other Barsack artists. And I do remember I enjoyed both opening acts quite a lot. But anyway, we went there and they had no handicap seating at this particular venue, which of course is kind of a pretty major ADA violation. And of course, any venue is gonna, somebody who's got a legit handicap is gonna try to accommodate that. Yeah, I mean, Wes had multiple sclerosis. Wes could literally not get up and walk. In fact, at that point, he sometimes struggled to maneuver his electric wheelchair. And to accommodate him and us, of course, since we were with him, they put us on the side of the stage. And this guy came up on the stage and was like chatting with my wife and I, and was the entire, mostly between the first couple of acts, but a little bit during the first couple of acts. And at one point, after the second opening act got off stage, it's like, oh shit, I gotta get going. I'm sorry to cut you guys off. I gotta get going. I'll catch you guys after the show. We'll hang out after the show. And my wife turned to me and she goes, I think that's the lead singer. And I'm like, no way. And the funny thing about that was, at that point in time, I didn't really have a clue what the members of Death Cab for Cutie look like. They're not the kind of band that puts their pictures on their album covers. And, very extremely indie band at the time. Trying to remember the name of the album they were touring on that year. I know it was, I want to say, I can't remember the name of the album. It's so long since I've listened to that one, but it was their last album that they recorded for Barsack before they signed with Atlantic. And sure as shit, yeah, that was Ben. and true to his word, we hung out with him after the show for quite some time. That was a good time, and exchanged email addresses, and him and I sort of kept in touch for a while after that. And of course, looking back now, it felt like I had sort of a fairy tale life. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was still struggling with depression then, but I had the pink house with the cinder block fence down in Tucson, and the reasonably pretty young wife. I don't judge me. Most other people didn't find it that attractive, but I was mostly happy with it. And spent the majority of my days just at home with my baby and running my online record store. Anyway, it was after my divorce, when I was homeless, that was the next time I saw Ben Gibbard. Also at a Death Cab for Cutie show. I scraped together enough to go to that show, because damn it, I was going to that show. And it was at the second iteration of Nina's Hideaway, which was located at more sirens, flashing lights. Nina's Hideaway, which was located over at or the original Nina's Hideaway was over where Tempe Marketplace is now. Second Nina's Hideaway, for some reason I'm thinking that was actually the second Nina's Hideaway. There was an early one, but anyway, that was the first one I ever regularly went to. And then the reincarnation of Nina's tidal wave that was happening when I was going through my divorce and shortly thereafter was, I want to say it's Southern and I can't remember if it was Southern or Broadway and Price, where the Loop 101 is on the Tempe side. Anyway, yeah, saw Death Cab for Cutie there, and that was also an amazing show, and totally recognized me from being in San Diego, and that's why I hadn't heard from me in a while. And then when I told him, he seemed pretty mortified. I'm sure I filled him with earfuls of just how god awful my divorce was. Reminds me on a YouTube video today on a short showing someone's baby mama being absolutely, showing some baby mama drama. Some guy yelling at his baby mama that she's going to go to jail. She was going to go to jail, and she was being all freaking hysterical, and then she trying to ride off on a bike while she was busy yelling at him, and then she rode her bicycle into a parked car. And basically had a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old, smashing her fists against the car and against the road, while somebody else in the hood was yelling at her not to be messing with her car. And I forget what led to me putting this as a responding comment, but something about her. Anyways, this woman in this YouTube video, in this short, maybe I'll link it to this video. Try to remember to do that. It's only 6:31 right now. I can make it over to Burger King, get myself some chicken sandwiches. Haven't really ate much over the last 3 days, so that would be nice right now. Anyway, one of the things this woman was yelling in this short, among her other noise on the bicycle and acting absolutely hysterical. And it's YouTube short. It's like a 20-second video, so there's not a lot of context. But she's yelling, "Well, you'll see me at my funeral," or something like that. And somebody left this whole comment about, "Oh, well, that means that she's going to kill herself. It's a cry for help." And me being dark spot, operating with no filter on the YouTube as per usual, I think I commented that my baby mama killed herself. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me. An absolutely horrifically mean thing to say about my daughter's mother, but it's basically true. Up until that happening, I had pretty much given up on any hope of seeing my daughter again, and I just went through so much hell. And to be fair, by that point in my life, she really wasn't messing with me that much, as she had previously for years, and was definitely in the process of still messing with me. She threw it right there. I need to pay more attention to where I'm at. She ended the process of messing with me. She was still messing with me at the time. I saw Death Cab for Cutie at the same time. She definitely slowed down it, but I mean, yeah, she sabotaged my life in a really, really bad way and just put me through, like, whatever hell you've heard of people with bad baby mama drama stories. I mean, what my ex-wife put me through was probably worse, and I should someday write a book about it. I probably never will. I don't even talk about it on this vlog that much, all things considered. But yeah, it was pretty much all I could talk about was the hell I was going through back the time I saw Death Cab for Cutie the second time. So, not a huge shock. Ben didn't want to hang out with me that much after that show. It was just he knew damn well I was homeless. But anyway, fast forward to today, and I got Narrow Stairs by Death Cab for Cutie delivered to me. So, I actually got the message as I was getting ready for work that it had been dropped off. As y'all saw, the Amazon driver is still like right around the corner from my place. So, yeah. Look like too much of a line here. Wow. Oh, thinking of the other thing I binge watched over YouTube this weekend as I'm going through this drive-through. Completely unrelated to Death Cab for Cutie. You know, I browse in Reddit and seeing Death Cab for Cutie. I almost bought another record, but it was like $26, and it didn't. I wasn't able to use my Amazon discount, so I decided I probably shouldn't. But I think they're open. Hello?
Give me a moment, please.
Oh, no problem. The thing's not lit up like it normally is. I got a $6 value meal here that looks pretty similar to the $5 biggie bag at Wendy's.
What can I get for you?
I just want to get 2 original chicken sandwiches.
Anything else?
No, that'll be it for me.
$7.60, thank you.
Sweet, thank you. I'm looking forward to listening to that record when I get home, for sure. I've never even heard every song on it, which kind of goes against me saying everything I'm saying about being such a Death Cab for Cutie fan. But as I was saying, at that time I was listening to songs more than I was listening to albums, and yeah, I Will Possess Your Heart. I played the crap out of that. In fact, the music video has a much, I'm assuming, longer version of the song than the album. Of course, I finally got the album. I guess I can listen to and compare. But yeah, the version in the music video, it's a super, super long intro. And I used to play that whole video frequently at my show. Which is kind of interesting because typically at my show I tend to play shorter versions of stuff, as many DJs do. But for some reason that one just resonated enough with me, and it seemed to go over enough with my crowd, which at that time was primarily Gilligan's. Wasn't. I played that one a lot. I think what other songs are on that album, and I'm kind of drawing a blank. I know one of them is You Can Do Better Than Me, which interestingly I never really listened to that song until like last year when I was working on my karaoke music library and added a whole bunch of Death Cab for Cutie, and that was one of the songs that I added for karaoke. So that one, yeah, didn't have the MP3 to my library and karaoke to my library till last year. So now I finally got the album. A little behind the times on that one, but I got it. So as I was saying, the other thing I did a YouTube bender on And you know what? I'm gonna see if I can. I just heard my Obama phone making its noise, so I'm gonna assume I have some coverage. Oh, I do right now. It's always a crapshoot on whether this phone has service, because it just drops coverage all the time. And I don't think it's the service provider. I think that started happening when I sat on it at the Smashing Pumpkins show. I'm sure I damaged its antenna somehow, or connection to it or something. I'll bring up my viewing history on YouTube, and it should be near the top. Caleb Hammer. Binge watching his YouTube channel the last couple of days. Caleb Hammer. And the best way I can think of to describe Caleb Hammer is, thank you. Imagine a young, compassionate Dave Ramsey that keeps his political and religious opinions to himself. I think it's a pretty solid description of Caleb Hammer. The financial advice he gives is pretty similar, if not identical. And I've listened to Dave Ramsey for a long time. It's not like solid financial advice is a new thing, you know. And do I hate it? No, but what Caleb does in his channel, which is dramatically different than what Dave Ramsey does. Dave Ramsey takes callers, but he can only spend so much. You know, he's got a nationally syndicated radio show. He's only got so much time he can spend on a specific caller with their issue. Whereas Caleb on YouTube does these long form, like some of his videos are over an hour long. These really long financial audits of people, and I mean they get take some balls to go on his YouTube channel and just share your finances like that with the world. But yeah, he goes through with people and just all their, like, he looks at their credit card statements and their bank statements and their talking about all the things they're doing right and all the things they're doing wrong. And I'm sitting here, and what do I do right after binge watching that? I go get 2 chicken sandwiches at Burger King on my Discover card. I learned nothing. Anyway, I did. To be fair, I did. I have been thinking long and hard over the last couple of days about, you know, especially in the last day while I've been binge watching those, about what my financial situation is. And really regretting that I didn't decide to work the last couple days, because as I've been laying in bed, A to Z has been offering me overtime shifts. Yeah. Came really close to taking one on Friday. And I woke up that one. I woke up on that one at about, I'm gonna say, because when I go through these like benders where I just don't feel like getting out of bed, I have a set schedule. Like, I'll sleep for a couple hours, sometimes I'll sleep for several hours, sometimes I'll just kind of doze off for like a half hour. listening to a video that doesn't hold my attention. But then when the silence hits, I kind of wake back up. Drop some comments on YouTube, respond to some comments on YouTube. I fart around on Reddit a little bit. Start another video and just kind of zone out. Maybe I'll fall back asleep, maybe I won't. Depends on how much it engages me. But anyway, I do remember Friday waking up at about, and I really going into this weekend, I'd been checking the A to Z app constantly and wanting to get some so I gotta eat my sandwich, I'm hungry. Really wanting to get some overtime this weekend because last weekend I didn't have overtime. Just resulted in me being in a horrible depressive funk that honestly I haven't got out of. I mean, God knows I put way more of it than I should have Thursday night, Friday morning on YouTube. I just finally, after 6 days of posting nothing, finally put the second half of it on YouTube, and I even edited some out. Like it was reminders. Alcohol is a depressant. That probably didn't help anything, but yeah, it was. Yeah, that happened. And for those who are curious, CJ did text me back and forth a few times. A couple times, tried to ring my phone, come to find out it wasn't her, it was just some other homeless riffraff borrowing her phone, trying to locate his girlfriend, sending text messages to the wrong phone number that were, wow. Yeah, that's a whole nother low level of life that I need to keep my head above water and not become a part of again. That's all I got to say about that. But yeah, my next paycheck's going to be really, really, really shitty because I had my 4-day work week last week and I wasn't vlogging. I was so depressed I wasn't vlogging last week. And I didn't perform very well at work. Well, except on Wednesday. I was definitely in my zone on Wednesday. In fact, supervisors complimented me quite a lot on Wednesday. Just how much I was kicking ass on Wednesday. Which was good, because the days before it was just... people worry. I have people, are you going to be okay? Are you going to be okay? I'm like, well, I think so. Sorry, I'm trying my best. I want to say, one day I was probably 3.5 hours late coming into work. And I had another day that I was over 5 hours late coming into work. On that note, it's 6:48 on one time. I'm going to get my ass in there. Kayla's videos have me a little more motivated to stay on my grind. And I feel like I'm kind of breaking Priscilla's hold on me and my loins. But, I don't know. I'll talk more about that later. Oh my god. I need to chew fried chicken before I swallow it. Ouch. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully I can keep my head together and be back with more sooner than later.